Okay, we're here at Bluebird Hill, Neil and Sue, and we're here with Willie, and Gus is out and about somewhere. And we thought because of the situation, we would take a walk around the property and talk to you about things. We've had a really nice spring, a good mix of beautiful days and rain mixed in between too. And you can see down the rows, we've got some wildflowers growing in the alleyways and bunches of clover here that are just starting to pick up blooms. And we'll take a look at a vine right here. This looks nice. We're in Mom's block here. And this has been shoot thinned, and we have a nice array of shoots on this vine. You can see already, I'll close in here. I'll get close in. Yeah, you can see the clusters right up there. These are going to be flowers right here. And then after they're done being flowers, then they're going to be grapes. So this is a cluster of grapes to be, and here's another one here. Here's the view down the road. Everything's looking pretty good.
So we've walked on down to the west on the property, and these are fruit trees, semi-dwarf fruit trees that Neil planted a few years ago, full of blossoms. And then if we look down the west property line are historic apple trees, probably planted here in the early 1900s. We're hoping to find out what kinds of apples we have here at some point. And then you can also see our raised beds. We've got herbs in the beds, and we did an early planting with some Walla Walla onions, some spring salad mix, and some broccoli. And the rhubarb, for some reason, is blooming already. And then if you look on up behind the shop, you can see that our blueberries are blooming. And it looks like we're going to have a good crop of those this year.
To the southwest corner, here's our neighbor's barn, Brian and Laura. And we have some new neighbors this year. Can you see them walking around out there? A couple of chickens. We've been getting eggs from Laura. And these blackberries have been decimated here this year in a good way, because we got a couple of these guys for neighbors too. Yeah, that's right. How are you? I think he's saying ba. That would be a sheep, I guess. Okay, we're gonna move on.
Now we're in the southwest corner of the property. This is my favorite spot because of the view. So we'll walk. It's probably the highest spot on the property. If you look, you can see the white capped Mount Jefferson off in the distance. And then there's the house. So we're looking out over Mom's block and the south block and down into the valley. Just a gorgeous day here on the hill.
Dirt path along the south fence that Willie and Gus have managed to create here. We tried to get this all filled in, all nice and grassy, and these guys run back and forth so much. They have selected cars. Some of our neighbors, they enjoy chasing back and forth up and down the hill, and they run so many times in a day that the grass just can't get established in here. But we're okay with it.
All right, so we have a system for identifying where our new plants are, and that is the blue tape. And This is the new vine that just went in this year, and that way we know where we need to water. And usually we water for the first couple of years until the vine gets established. And then after that, we dry farm.
Okay, we're down at the bottom, the southeast corner. Here's a few rows of Chardonnay. You can see these vines are not nearly as mature as the others in the rest of this block. And I'll show you what one of our new projects is here. Here's the corner of the house, the driveway, and we've tilled up a spot. It's going to be a flower bed at the entryway, so we have something nice to greet visitors when they pull into the driveway. Here's our cherry trees. So that's back toward the street where I showed you that flower bed. And here's another spot that we tried to till up here, at least scraped up the ground and up ahead. And we bought a pound of wildflower seeds, and we actually ran some black irrigation pipe. Can you see it stuck into the fence there? So we're going to be able to water this all summer long.
So a couple of years ago, Neil spread some wildflower seeds on up the hill going towards the house. And here's some California poppies that are in full bloom. I just love them. They're so pretty. And there'll be other wildflowers that'll come up in this area too.
So the tasting area, the patio. Why is it so quiet? Well, it'd be like this on a normal April anyway too. We don't put the awning cover up until Memorial Day weekend. A couple of tables. We haven't even brought the chairs out. But the good news is we'll be all ready when it's time to start hosting people again.
All right, so now we've come inside and we're in Bay 2. This is a tank of Pinot Gris waiting to be bottled. 2019 vintage and some empty barrels. And there's Willie checking out everything. And then we'll turn around here. And here is our case wine storage room. There's rosé there waiting to be labeled. And you'll see we've probably got more wine in here now than we've ever had at one time, because we've done some recent bottlings. So here's our 17 Pinot Noir. There are our libraries right here. We have the red wine blend that we just bottled recently. And our reserve Pinots and our dessert wine. So now we're in Bay 4, the barrel room, which is temperature controlled. You see on this side, we have 2019 vintage and 2018. I think if we move the tracking for the garage door up just a little bit more, that we'll be able to stack 3 high all the way back towards the back of the barrel room. We have a little bit of Pinot Noir in tanks here. Oh, and it smells so good in here.
And this is out on the concrete deck. Everything you see here is empty. We've got a couple of steel tanks there. It's our vehicles.
Here comes Gus.
Here comes Gus. This is a tank, steel tank under here, some hoses. And we have 4 steel barrels, some empty flex tanks. And then we have 4 other stainless steel barrels here, a little older. some stainless steel Pepsi barrels. These are for sale. Anybody need a steel barrel, talk to us. Here's a shot down the driveway. This is what it would look like today. If you're here for a pickup, you just pull in, park your car, and we've got wine waiting for you under the gazebo there.
Now we're on the north side of the house, and you can see Neil has tilled a nice area here. There used to be ponderosa pines like you see back there in the back in this area, and we had them taken out when we put the vineyard in so that they wouldn't shade the vines from the morning sun. Neil plans on having a little more garden in this area. And then here's our view off to the west, coastal range. And that mountain that you see just peeking off to the distance there is Mary's Peak, which is the highest point in the coastal range.
Here's our little baby tractor. It's only 36 inches wide, Kubota B series. We have the tiller on it right now, and this is the next chore now. Here's our air blast sprayer, and that we have to disconnect the tiller and put the sprayer on, and the sprayer will stay basically on the tractor for the season. Sneak up on Alexis here. She's out in the vineyard doing some shoot thinning. We'll have her explain what we're doing here. Hey Alexis, we're taking some footage today. Post on the website. I'm going to stay a good distance here, but why don't you tell us what you're doing exactly here, okay?
Yeah, here, let me pause this. So I am oh man. Hold on. There you go. I'm thinning out the vines. I think the idea is if we have too many buds on there, it's not going to produce as good a quality grapes. So we go through and just knock off buds, any buds that are double buds forming on the vine.
Why don't you go do the next vine and we'll look at you do it.
So things like this, we're going to get rid of. They're just going to grow out into the rows and inhibit us from driving the tractor through.
Mow it up.
So we'll get rid of these. Anything's here that are doubles, and this is going to shoot straight out, so we're going to get rid of that. And then the idea is to get about a fist full apart between buds. So let me get rid of these.
And they pop off pretty easy, don't they?
Oh yes they do, which is why you have to be really careful when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Alright, this one.
Okay, I've got the zoom on. We're appropriately distanced here. Just
So now we're standing on the northernmost point of our property, and we're looking at the north block. This was planted in 2014. And how many rows do we have, Neil?
50 out here, 59 out front,
Okay.
5,500 vines total. There's a view up the alleyway here on the far west side. We're at the northwest corner of the property. Our deer fence, this row of Doug firs. We cleaned up the branches on these Doug firs last couple of years so that we get some nice airflow. They were so thick they would act like a wall and block the breezes and cold air from draining down the hill overnight when we have still nights. And here's our heritage apple trees that Sue talked about earlier, and a view
It's a bearing tree.
up to the house. Here's our bearing tree. This flag sign has been here for quite a number of years, surveyor's mark.
So Neil likes to talk about how the rows here in the north block look like stadium seats, the way they work themselves up the hill. You can see some more of the blue flags out here where we've replaced some vines this year.
This line of heritage apple trees, here's a few that we put into some empty spaces. That's an Asian pear, plum tree, these two, this big one, and there's a little one in the, you can see there's one sapling before the big apple tree with the V trunks. These actually are clones taken from the golden plum that we have in the northwest corner of the property. The first year we were here, we just had the most unbelievable crop of golden plums. And here you can see those baby plums just the flowering was over about 2 weeks ago.
Some beautiful poppies that we have in this flower bed. Mostly Shasta daisies with just a couple of poppies in it. And we're heading back towards Mom's block now. So we've made our way all the way around the property. There's Willie waiting on us. And we'll go back up here. There's Gus up on the hill. He's waiting for squirrels.
Okay. Well, we're all done touring the property, and we just thought we would finish up. We had this idea. We actually have our lawn sprinkler, which is a tripod about 4 feet high, and now I have my iPhone clipped onto the height of the sprinkler, sitting about 2 feet away from the bird feeder. And this is our Nigel thistle, and it does a good job in the springtime of bringing in the goldfinches. And you can see the males are brightly colored. They've only picked up their color literally in the last 2 weeks. They're gray all winter long. Females still are the darker colored birds that you see in this. We have another feeder. We need to get that one cleaned up and put out. That one's about 3 feet tall, and we can attract about 20 or 30 birds at one time on the feeder. So there's just a little bit more, in another minute or so, and we'll let you enjoy looking at these birds. And we want to thank everybody for your support during this time. Help us pay for Alexis and Nick do their thing here at Bluebird Hill. We hope to be hearing from you and see you all soon. Take care.